What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Celtics Daily Channel with me, Mike Zakarian, as we continue to suffer through this Boston Celtics NBA season. Man, it's been a roller coaster, up and down, up and down. Last night, we were on the downswing of the roller coaster as they took on the Utah Jazz. We're going to get into that. We'll look forward to the Wizards, and then there was some dramatic updates, if you will, within the rest of the league last night. We'll do all of that and a little bit more, but do me a favor, if this is your first time hanging out with us here at the Celtics Daily, hit that subscribe, baby. Get involved. Like the video. Give it the little hype button, whatever the heck that means. Let's just do all the algorithmic boosty things that we can do to make our YouTube hearts feel full, if you will. Because I'm full of it. Terrible transition. Celtics lose to the freaking Utah Jazz last night. Now, maybe if they were on the road, back end of a back-to-back, the loss makes a little bit more sense. The Celtics got absolutely pummeled over the weekend on Saturday. Now, it was a scheduled loss, right? You had that Friday win on the road against the 76ers in the Cup, and you come back the next day. It's a lot to ask of a team that's well rested in the Houston Rockets. Also just a brutal matchup because the Rockets are enormous and the Celtics are not. However, the Utah Jazz are on the back end of a back-to-back, traveling from where was Utah playing the night before? Utah played, and to Utah's credit, they're a little bit more of a scrappier, kind of a fun team. On Sunday, the Utah Jazz played the Charlotte Hornets, where they lost to a LaMelo Ball less. LaMelo didn't even play in this game to the Charlotte Hornets by 23. They lost by 23. Then the very next day, they have to come back, go to Boston, and they just gave it to him, man. They gave it to him. Boston just refuses to execute down the stretch. I feel like this is now, so we have, we've got 3 wins on the season, right? We have the win against Philly, which was a 1-point win, and then we got the blowout-ish win against the Pelicans, and then a close game against the Cavs, right? Well, the Cavs game was kind of in control the whole time. This has now been every close game that I feel like we have witnessed so far this season has in the final minutes of the game, it feels like an absolute dumpster fire when it comes to execution. And it happened again last night where they're just real sloppy with it, which is kind of uncharacteristic. Like, it felt like everybody was dribbling for the first time, like that they were like baby deer, just kind of trying to keep their hands in front of them. Now, there was a brutal call that happened, which I believe the game was tied at this point. I think it was a tie game. Jaylen Brown has the ball at the top of the key. Keontae George slips on, I guess, a wet floor, loses his footing. Keontae George goes down. And then Jaylen Brown, it was as he was starting to initiate his drive, he trips over Keontae, loses the ball. Jazz go down the other way. And nothing was called, which is pretty insane. And Jaylen Brown had some pretty tough comments, dropping some F-bombs about the refs after the game. And I mean, he's got a right to be upset, absolutely. Because honestly, in that scenario, that's one of those things where, like, it would have been an awful call if they called it on the offense. You can't call an offensive foul there, but it's got to be at least something. You know what I'm saying? You can't have that much contact, two people on the floor, a turnover like that in that moment of the game with just no call whatsoever. So there's definitely room to blame the refs. I'm here for that, but they shouldn't have even been in this spot. Right? This I don't even understand how we got here. We stopped going to the rack. We stopped driving. And this, I mean, like the Celtics story of old sometimes when this team becomes frustrating, it's just chuck the three. And when the 3 ball's falling, it's fun as hell. Very exciting. Love it. When the 3 ball's not falling, I don't know, mix it up a little bit. I know, and we talked about it with Peyton Pritchard. Shooters going to shoot or whatever. You got to shoot through it. Whatever the phrase is for shooters to make them feel better when they're not shooting well, to keep shooting. But come on, man. You had no problem getting to the paint. Jaylen Brown, I don't know why it took to the fourth quarter for him to start attacking. And he ended up with a nice stat line, which we'll go over in a second. But just attack, man. Just attack. And Pritchard, too. The Pritchard stuff is frustrating. Simon isn't really doing it either. I mean, just nobody was hitting shots. Derek White continues to struggle from the field, but there was just sloppy play of turnovers, not getting good shots, and then once again, just getting beaten up on the glass. And freaking in the year 2025, Jusuf Nurkic, who's basically been passed around insert joke here, seems to be the final nail in the coffin as he gets an offensive rebound with Keontae George, I believe it was, missed a tough sidestep jump shot. Goes off the side of the rim. Jusuf Nurkic just bodies whoever was underneath them, puts it back up. 0.6 of a second left. The Celtics get the ball back. They get one more shot. Jaylen Brown gets called with a push-off, and then God bless Brian Scalabrine, and I forget the guy on the call with Scal. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name, who did a good job, but both of them trying to almost will this into it being overturned when it was reviewed. But it was just, I mean, like the Celtics put themselves in a bad spot with down like four or so minutes left, put themselves in like an 8-point hole, and then they have to like exert all this energy to get back into it. And then they just kind of fell asleep at the wheel once again when it comes down to execution. We've seen this happen in the 76ers games, both the win and the loss, right? Just like weird turnovers in crunch time. That opens the door for these other teams to come back and steal the W. And so it's something we're going to have to monitor. Trying not to overreact again. We're only 7 or 8 games into the season, but this is now two games that the Celtics should have won, have now lost, and like you can get away with that when you have 3 All-Stars on your team and like borderline stuff, like when Porzingis and Drew and Al and Cornet, when all of those guys are there, you can get away with some, hey, we fell asleep last night, we didn't take Utah seriously. But when this is your roster, when this is the Boston Celtics roster you don't have room for error. You don't have the room to be like, we took the night off. We took the night off, Mike. It's no big deal. Like you can't, because these aren't, there's no givens anymore with this team. As I'm seeing the sun come in, isn't that beautiful? It looks like I got a cut on my face. Anyways, this is frustrating. Let's talk about some of the stats from last night. All right, we've got on the Celtics side of stuff. Let's start there, right? So Keita played 26 minutes. He had 9 points and 8 boards. He led all Celtics with rebounding. Let's look at the reboundings in general. They got out-rebounded 55-36. Out-rebounded by 19, 55-36. On the offensive glass, 15-10. I mean, like, dude, that's so many extra shots for another team, right? So many extra shots. Now, let's look at the three-point ball. Three-point ball, they shot 21% on volume. 21% on volume. Here we go. Josh Minot, why not Minot? He played 15 minutes. He 4 fouls, 2.6 boards. He went 0 for 2 from 3. Keita did not take a 3. Derek White, 3 for 8 from 3. He had 10 points, 5 boards, 6 dimes, 3 steals. Like, he did a lot of stuff. But why are we only taking 9 shots, Derek White? 9 shots, 9 field goal attempts? Jaylen Brown, 13 for 28, okay? Got to the line 11 times, knocked down 10 of them. 0 for 9 from 3. 0 for 9 from 3. And you know what? Peyton Pritchard, to his credit, shot the ball a little bit better last night, going 7 for 15 from the field, 4 for 11 from 3. You had Chris Boucher, who came in, actually gave them 7 good minutes, had 5 points and a board. Celtics flirted with going small for a little bit and then stopped. He went 1 for 2 from 3. Sam Hauser, Jesus, in 28 minutes, 1 for 8 from 3. Xavier Tillman got in there for 6 minutes. He missed a 3, 0 for 1. Luka Garza in 11 minutes, 0 for 2 from 3. Simons had 15 points in 26 minutes. He was a minus 11. He went 2 for 8 from 3. The whole bench, this is where they got spanked. The bench was Derek White was a minus 8, surprisingly. Plus minus isn't that, like, whatever. But Luka Garza, minus 12 in 11 minutes, we said. Simons was a minus 11. Hugo played 8 minutes and was a minus 11. Xavier, minus 10. Man. Just a frustrating loss. To be up 4 at halftime, right? Then up 10. I'm sorry, up 4 at the end of the first, up 10 at halftime, and then to get outscored by 12 in the third quarter at home, just to sleep. Lauri Markkanen didn't even have a great game. Like, you'd think if the Celtics got torched, it was because of Lauri. But once again, guards cook Boston. Started the season with VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey putting up 74. This time it was Keontae George. Keontae George, 31 points on 16 shot attempts, 9 for 16 from the field, 11 for 13 from the free throw line, and he knocked down a couple of triples. This is the starting 5 that they lost to. Lauri Markkanen, sure. Lowry Bird, we love it. Taylor Hendricks, feel free to Google. Yusuf Nurkic in the year 2025. Svi Mykhailiuk, which I probably didn't pronounce that incorrectly. I always think of Mykhailiuk every time I hear that. Anyway, Svi Mykhailiuk, he's starting. And then Keontae George, who we mentioned. Kevin freaking Love got 17 minutes on this team. Kevin Love had 17 minutes. Kevin Love, in 17 minutes, had 7 rebounds. 7 rebounds, which probably would have put him second in rebounding on this. It would have. Only behind Keita in rebounding on the Celtics. Kyle Filipowski got minutes. Elijah Harkless. I tell you, I do this every day. I don't know who Elijah Harkless is. I do not. Ace Bailey, whatever, and then Walter Clayton Jr. Like, just a devastating loss. At home, too. At home. Utah on a bet. I mean, it's just unacceptable. Like that. Well, you know what? Maybe it is acceptable. Maybe this is the new normal. But yeah, like, at the beginning of the season, everybody's like 50 wins. You can't be losing to Utah. And like it's still early. It's 3-5 now. 3-5. And if you're not winning, like there's things as scheduled losses, right? We talk about the Houston game. There are also scheduled wins. And this was supposed to be a scheduled win. And you just didn't show up and you didn't execute. You got outworked on the glass. And they're a bigger team. Nurkic, Lowry. Like, those are some big boys. Those are some big boys. You shouldn't be getting out-rebounded 55 to 36. 36 is absurd. They didn't shoot well enough. The Jazz didn't shoot well. Like, they only shot 29% from three and 45% from the field. It's not like they cooked. Man, just really frustrating. Really frustrating. Next up, we got the Washington Wizards, which, again, should be a W, but I don't know. It's going to be a little bit tough here. So the next game, I believe they play Wednesday here. They'll have Washington, who just got beat up by the Knicks last night, although I will say their young guys are looking fun. Alex Sarr had a solid game. Wednesday, they'll be at home. JB, who is averaging almost 27 points a game. Hopefully he can still cook in this scenario. The Wizards are 1-6. Again, should be a good spot to get a W there. That's on Wednesday, and then I think Friday is our second Cup game against the Orlando Magic, and they'll go back on the road. Orlando, who's 3-4 right now, we'll see where they're at when it comes to Friday. But those are their next two games on the schedule. But they gotta stop messing around, man. They do. And like all the effort stuff that we were talking about in the preseason, like, oh man, Josh Minot. Like what a revelation Josh Minot is. And it's like, yeah, that is true. That is true. It is surprising. But we're not at a point where we can rely on these guys to produce night in and night out. Like Jaylen Brown, to his credit, is the only one and I know he had a couple of tough turnovers in that game. Actually, I want to look at the turnovers. But like JB at least has been showing up night in and night out. I need that. from other guys, and we're not getting it. And to expect it from like a Josh Minot is probably too much. It's probably too much to expect this from Minot right now. But Pritchard and White, you guys need to step up. Simons too. I mean, Simons is kind of like, I don't know how you guys feel. But excuse me, his minutes just kind of feel not empty, but I'm like not noticing him out there in a lot of ways. Like I don't feel like he's as impactful as maybe I had anticipated. Let's look at these turnovers quickly. So they had, I guess it wasn't as bad. It looks like the Jazz turned it over 18 times. The Celtics only 10 times, so they actually took care of the ball. So maybe I have to go to look at the advanced metrics here or advanced stats to see what about the fourth quarter, because it felt like it was all over the place on the fourth quarter. But there's like moments, right? I don't want to be like negative Nancy here. There was moments when they when they were down 8 with like 4 minutes left, and they ramped up the intensity, and like I think JB took the ball from the ball handler out near the three-point line, which turned into a transition bucket. Derek White did it. It's like there's flashes of this, right? There are flashes, but then it doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't come to fruition when you need it the most. So that was a pretty frustrating one, man. That was a pretty frustrating one. That was one of the first ones that I got to watch start to finish live too. Typically, just because my schedule's been a little bit nutty, I'll either catch the third and fourth quarter, then go back and watch the first half, or vice versa. And last night I was able to just kind of lock in and watch. Yeah, not good for my mental health though. I'll tell you that right now. All right, let's just like bounce around the league here for a second. I wanted to update you guys on like two drama things. So this will make us feel a little bit better. While we're wallowing in our Celtics loss, we can at least make fun of some other people. So aspiration, remember back to that Steve Ballmer, Kawhi Leonard thing, which was a little funky, right? We go back there for a second. The company, employees, I believe it is former employees or former investors. I should have had this pulled up. I apologize. But Steve Ballmer, the long and the short of it, is getting sued right now. Steve Ballmer is getting sued, and this is from Pablo Torre, who's the one who reported it. It said the Clippers owner Steve Ballmer has been sued by 11 aspiration investors who allege Ballmer used the company now named Katona to secretly funnel millions of dollars to star NBA player Kawhi Leonard, paying him more than allowed by the NBA salary cap rules. So This I feel like a lot more is about to start coming to light about this now that other lawsuits are happening. So it's not just like an FBI investigation or an NBA investigation anymore. Now others are getting involved in litigation. So I feel like this is probably bad news for the Clippers. If I had to guess, bad news for the Clips. At some point, this is going to get discussed by people around the league. And it sounds like, right, there was this big sweep of like right before the season started, all this stuff comes out, everybody gets really excited. And then like, it just stopped. We just stopped talking about it. And then all of a sudden, Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier get arrested, so we focus on that. And I feel like no one's talked about it since then. So I'm curious, like, where the NBA is at this investigation, or if they're doing their best to sweep it under the rug. It'll be curious to see what comes of that. But that seems not good for the Clippers. And then Ja Morant played basketball last night after his one-game suspension, and I thought he looked okay in this game. They lost to Detroit 114-106, but after the game, he basically pulled it. Like, let me see what Ja's line was. He had 18 points, 10 dimes, 5 boards. He was fine out there. Wasn't super aggressive, but he was fine. But after the game, basically pulled a Jimmy Butler and was like, I don't have joy. No joy. Remember when Jimmy did that last year where he's like, I lost my joy? So I don't know, man. This Grizzly thing seems bad. It seems like it's bad. I feel like Ja Morant is going to be on the move, which is spicy. That is a spicy thing if that happens. I don't think the Celtics would be in the market for it because I don't know if we'd have like the right assets to go make a move like that. I'm sure teams like Toronto. Honestly, the New Orleans Pelicans like to do dumb shit, so like maybe they go do it. Houston Rockets need a point guard; they have a ton of assets. So I was still going to monitor this situation, but as the Grizzlies now fall to 3-5, a similar record to the freaking Boston Celtics. Anyway, I'm sorry. I gotta stop the video. Let's get to some of your comments from yesterday. Light comment day yesterday. Was everybody busy at work? Come on. Normally we're sitting in the 20s. We had 2. Come on. But let's get to it. Let's get to your comments. As always, appreciate you guys tuning in and getting involved. Hit the subscribe because, like, listen, if we're not going to win basketball games, we need to win the algorithm. So just keep hitting the sub button, baby. All right, so we got NBA updates. Says Josh Minot, energy and hustle. That is true. I mean, like, Minot, as frustrating as that game can be sometimes when the shot's not falling, like when he's not providing too much offensively, at least he's out there getting rebounds, man. Like, at least he's getting rebounds. He did it. What did I say his line was? He had 6 boards. He had a block in there. He was a +6 in his minutes. So, Minot's battling. He's exciting. We just need more. It'd be more fun if Minot was like a 7th, 8th guy, right? But when we're like, hey, bro, we need you to start, it's a different story. The other comment we're going to get to is AJB. We were talking about Ja, right? He says, stars like Ja and Jimmy after going through the Kyrie drama makes me grateful for the type of guys Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are. Yeah, I mean, like, what's the closest drama we've gotten between those guys had nothing to do with those guys. It was everybody trying to trade Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant or whomever. That was some drama. And then the only other drama was everyone being like, was Jaylen Brown actually better than Jason Tatum? Can they play together? Are we sure they can play together? That was it. That was it. Other than that, they just show up. They play almost every game outside of this catastrophic injury for Tatum. And they freaking win championships. Well, chip. I guess they haven't won multiple ones yet. But all they've done is win. Oh, man. Oh, my brain's fried. That Jazz game broke me last night. The Rockets won, whatever. I can stomach. Losing to the Jazz, it's just like, you really going to let Danny Ainge come into this house? The Ainge father-son duo come into this house? Come on. What happened to home court? What happened to home court advantage? Anyways, that's going to do it for us today. Hit the subscribe on the way out. We will see you right back here tomorrow. Hopefully, after I've talked to a therapist and I'm in better places, but we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for hanging. We out.